Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Blackman. We're going to be making a fun project today about the Trolls. You should have already seen the movie clip that I put out on the movie, the new one coming out about the Trolls. So we're going to be making a cool project using half of a paper plate, paint, you need brown and white, oil pastels, scissors, glue, and one sheet of black paper. So let's get started. Here we go. So for our first part of the project, we're going to be using that paper plate and we're going to be cutting it in half. Okay, we know about halves. So we're going to go right down the middle. You can get an adult to help you do this if you need a little help with the halving part. All right, now I'm going to keep one of these for my face for my project, and the other one I'm going to hold on to for my palette. Okay, so we're going to make the use of this one. Okay, so this is going to be the first part of our project. And to keep paint off of our tables, I'm going to just use a paper towel and put it right underneath that. Okay, all right. So here we go. So this is the part I'm going to be painting on, and this is where I'm going to put my paint. So I'm going to show you how to do that first. We're going to mix the color. Okay, you may need again to have someone else help you do this. If you don't have a correct shade of brown, which I do not, I'm going to use a few drops like that of brown paint. And then I'm going to add a little white over to the side. There we go. All right, and I'm going to use a brush, and I want a lot of white, mostly white, and just a touch of the brown, because I want it to kind of look like a troll's skin. Okay, so you know, make him kind of brown there. We want him to look nice, so our colors will show up nicely. You can add as much or as little brown as you like, depending on skin color. All right, now I've got a little bit of that mixed in. I'm going to start painting. So I'm going to set this palette to the side, and so I can reach it, and then I'm going to paint my plate. This is going to be the face again. So this will be the top of the troll's head. So I'm going to just come in here and use my brush, and you can just quickly put on a little paint. You don't want to get paint on anything, so I'm going to keep it on the paper towel, okay? Or paper, whatever you've got. Just to keep it off your parents' furniture. All right, I need a little more mix in there, so I'm going to mix me up a little extra. I'm going to finish out my paper plate. I've got to get down here where I've been holding with my finger, because I want this whole surface covered. Now, you don't want to use too much paint, because if you use too much paint and don't work quickly enough, your plate is going to start wrinkling, and we don't want it to look like you stayed too long in the bathtub and got all wrinkly. We want him to look like he's supposed to. All right, I've got my plate pretty much covered here, okay? There we go. So I'm going to set this to the side along with my dirty brush, and I'm going to let my plate dry. So that's the first part of our project. Okay, so I'm going to slide him over. Okay, the next thing we're going to be working on is the hair. Now, this is really fun. So I have a piece of black construction paper, and we're going to use this as our background. We talk about backgrounds in art, so this is going to be the fun part. So I've collected a few fun colors for hair. Of oil pastels. Hope you can see those. Okay, just some fun colors. And I'm going to be making some patterns. So here we go. I'm going to start on the edge of my paper down here. And I'm going to do wiggly, crazy hair design. And I may want to use a color a couple of times. Okay, I'm gonna switch colors. You may want to make a pattern with your design or just a crazy hair. That'd be fun. Okay. I'll do a few colors. Like that. You can overlap. That means one thing is going over top of something else. Overlapping. That's fun because, you know, hair goes everywhere. That's important to have in your picture. All right, let me close in my pattern here. I'm gonna put in a little red here. And maybe a little yellow here. And you're gonna notice your lighter colors show up more on your paper because that's just the way it works. I'm gonna put in some crazy pink hair. Now we got crazy hair for our troll. He's gonna be a lot of fun. All right. Okay. Now you notice I didn't go all the way to the edge of my paper, and that's okay because I'm gonna cut off a little bit of this because I want it to fit just between his ears, and I'll show you how to do that later. All right, now I'm gonna set this to the side, and we need a brown shade paper, piece of paper. And on your brown paper, you need 3 little parts, okay? So, to get your 3 little parts in, you need a nose. Kind of make a long nose like this, a funny kind of nose. Looks like a potato or maybe an egg shape. And we need 2 ears. So I'll show you a trick about how to do that. But first we're going to cut out our nose. I'm not going to throw away all my paper because scraps of construction paper are always good when you're making art projects. You can always save your scraps. So just kind of cut out your elongated nose. All right. I got some marks on there, but that's okay. I'm going to flip it over when I start to glue it down. So that's his nose. Now for the ears, I'm going to take my paper and my scrap and fold it over like that. So when I do 1 ear, I'll have 2 ears, okay? So I'm just going to use my scissors and I'm going to, first I'm going to draw it. I want kind of a long pointy ears because trolls have long pointy ears, if you remember from the video. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to cut out 1 time, and I'll have 2 ears when I'm done. All right. And look at that, just like magic, I have 2 ears. All right, so we got 2 ears and a nose for our troll. Get this out of the way. All right, one of the last things we're going to need is eyes. You need 2 eyes. These are our parts. Nose, 2 ears. We need 2 eyes. So I'm going to go on my scrap piece of white paper that I have here, and I'm going to make a nice big funny eye. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Just circles. You could trace a quarter or maybe a nickel or something like that, or something you have around the house to get them both the same size. It doesn't really matter. And then trim out your eyes. Oops, 1 eye. Notice how I'm holding my scissors straight and I'm turning my paper. That's the way to do it, guys. All right, now I have 2 eyes, but I forgot the inside part. Okay, let me draw that in real quick. I'm gonna take my little marker and I'm going, oh, there's an eye. A funny eye for a troll. Just like that. I've got 2 eyes, the ears, and then the nose. Okay, so I'll hang on to that, get rid of my scraps. Okay, so we're getting down to our parts. We've got our parts for our face, we got our crazy hair, and we have our face. It's not quite dry, but that's okay. We're going to move along with this. All right. I'm going to come in with my glue stick now. I have all my parts ready, so here we go. All right. The first thing we need is to put glue on the back of our eyes. So I'm gonna flip my eye over, put my glue on. Boop, there's one eye. I'm gonna flip this over, glue it on the back. 2 eyes. Ah, he's beginning to look like a troll already. Now, here comes his nose. Now, I want his nose to be hanging off the bottom of our face because I want him to look kind of funny, like he's hiding behind something. So I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna put on his nose. And then the last part we're gonna be adding are his ears. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the end of his ear and attach it back here on the edge of my plate. I'm going from the back to add that. So it makes it look a little more 3D. And then I'm going to add his ear over here. Now it's important to know where your ears are going to be because when you start to do your hair, you want your hair to fit inside here. So, all right. When I have my face all done and my parts all made, I'm going to measure my hair. There it is. Now I'm going to trim my paper right down the side of my line so that we can add our hair. Good job cutting straight lines. Okay. All right, good job. I'm still going to hold on to my scrap because you always can use your scraps. Last little detail we're going to put on his hair. So the next part we're going to do is add the glue right over the hair that you drew. Almost rhymes. And we're almost there. There he goes. All right, guys. And I'll pull out my finished work. And look at that. I went back and added a few details. I added some eyebrows with my marker. I added some nostrils with my marker, and I even added some details inside the ears. And look at there, you got a crazy rockin' troll. All right, have fun, guys. We'll see you next time.